Hi, thank you for clicking on the video. As you can see, we're jumping back into the Family Matters universe today. As per usual, if you don't like spoilers and you've never seen Family Matters before, you should jump up here, go watch it, and then come back. If you don't care, we move on. I'm going to talk about Myra today. Um, I feel like her character had so much potential, and then they just made her extremely obsessive, right? And there are a lot of people who will be like, yeah, but Steve was obsessive. No, no, Steve liked Laura. Like, he was in love with Laura, okay? But he knew where to draw the lines, all right? Like, Myra showed up, I believe, in season 4. She is the cousin of one of the guys that Laura was dating, that she was really serious about at the time. And, they were sick of Steve, interrupting their dates. So he hooked him up with Myra. And, at first Steve really wasn't feeling it. He like, I am in love with Laura. I don't know what you thought you was doing, but this ain't gonna happen. Okay. And he really he enjoyed her company. He liked that she was smart, but he was not trying to really get with Myra. And then turn around, Laura's like, you should give Myra a chance. So Steve does, okay? And he actually takes her serious, all right? And I liked her at first. I thought that her character had so much potential to be a really great, stable character. And then they just made her crazy out of nowhere. Like, they made her obsessed with Steve. So there was literally an episode where she was spying on him. This is before she put the camera in his glasses now. This is like when they were still kind of fresh in the relationship, and she draws or whatever, and she literally was staring at him while he was undressed and stuff like that, and drew him naked, like, and thought that was okay. Now, say what you want about Steve, but he would never go out of his way to disrespect Laura's privacy like that. He never did anything that really made her uncomfortable. And to be fair, like, when he first really started taking Myra serious, he was not all over Laura. He gave her space. And Laura told him, oh, I miss you being around. I miss you flirting with me. I miss you asking me out and me being able to say no. And that is why he continued to fawn over her, because Laura said, I miss you. Continue doing what you're doing so that I can continue to feel, great about myself while turning you down. That's what it felt like, and he was just taking her serious. Like, he really wasn't even fucking with Laura in this particular episode, when he, really was like, okay, Laura told him to go date her, and he was like, okay, and she turns around and said, don't disappear on me, right? And, you know, I understand Myra's frustrations with Laura, right? Because you have this situation going on, and then this girl who says there's nothing going on, there's never going to be anything going on, turns around and is telling your guy to, make sure he still gives her attention, and it's like, well, it's friendly, but literally you always are like, well, I want you to ask me out so I can say no. It's not that friendly. It's not that friendly, right? But yeah, I kind of pivoted, but I was talking about, the disrespect of his privacy, right? And not only did she do that, which drawing, him naked, she put, when he started dating Laura, when they started taking each other more serious, she was so upset. And after he had officially broke up with Myra, because mind you, from the very beginning, Steve was very honest with Myra and said, I love Laura, and if she ever says that there's a chance for us to get together, then I am going to choose her over you. He was never dishonest about that. And, in the beginning, she's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I think Myra was like, I am totally going to change his mind. He's going to fall for me, and he is not going to want Laura anymore. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So when it came around to Laura taking Steve serious, he kept his word, and he officially broke up with Myra. And this girl put spyware in his room and his glasses, and just everything, every which way she could stare and spy on him, she was doing that, right? And I just, that that was insane. I don't understand why you would get to that point and then try to call it love. That is obsession. That's not love. You are willing to do crazy things. Mind you, she tried to get Laura arrested for stealing um out of love, craziness. She was acting crazy. Now that episode is funny, but she turned around and she was like, okay, well, you want Laura, I can be like Laura. And she literally was willing to change her whole vibe. Like, she put on a wig that was similar to Laura's hair. She put on the same dress as Laura and showed up to that restaurant and then proceeds to give Laura this bracelet, telling him, okay, I'll leave you guys alone, and then comes back with the police. Like, you're insane. You need help, right? And you know what's crazy? Because I saw something. They were basically saying, like, if they had made it to season 10, in that season, not only would we have seen Steve and Laura, in their first year of marriage, but Myra would have had Stefan helping her with schemes to try and break them up or something like that. Like, I'm kind of glad that we didn't get that, because I didn't like it. I don't like how obsessed they made her become. And then there was even an episode where she was trying to force Steve to get down and dirty with her. Like, Steve wanted to wait for marriage, which there's nothing wrong with that, and he made it very clear that he was not ready for that step in their relationship. Even though he is a guy, he does have his hormones and he does think about it. He would like to hold it off until he is with the woman that he is married to. And fair enough. Again, Steve has been very honest with this girl throughout since she showed up, from the very beginning. He's been very honest with her. And so, he says this very clear and very honestly to her, and she still proceeds to try and convince him to do it, which was such a different dynamic. I think, especially for those times, I don't think people was seeing, like, a woman be so forceful about something like that. And, I think that it was necessary, right? Because people always, put men down for their actions and stuff like that, but there are women who will try to pressure men as well. And I think it was necessary for us to be able to see that and know that, yeah, it's not just men who's out here doing stuff like that, right? Bringing acknowledgement to it. And she literally, he broke up with her. He broke up with her because she wanted to, like, force this on it. And then she's also, like, talking about marriage and stuff, and he like, you tripping, like, I need space. And then everything goes, whatever, and it gets to the end of the episode and he's like, well, Myra, I need you to just respect my boundaries and understand where I'm coming from, and if you can do that, then I would like to continue going steady with you. And she's like, oh, so you gonna break up with me and, have me all sad and teary-eyed and then come back around when you ready to be with me and just be like, okay. Like, you snap off on him, just be like, okay, I am okay with this. Yes, you, like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Like, girl, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, I really, I would be completely honest, I wish they had went in a different direction with Myra, because she liked that he was smart and everything. Like, she liked him for who he was, and I liked that aspect. Like, when she came into the series, she was a little bit more normal, but she did become very obsessive very quickly. Like, there was an episode where he was like, oh yeah, she transferred into my English class, and Laura was like, okay, and he was like, she don't go to our school. Why are you skipping classes at your school to come? And then her parents, like, what is your parents doing? So we do see that her parents are, like, rich or whatever, because her father gives her an apartment, and in the episode where Laura moved in with her or whatever, so they have to have some type of money. But I'm trying to figure out why your parents not on your ass for you missing school and running up behind a boy acting crazy as hell. Like, the fact that they were not involved at all and didn't know anything that she had going on is just ridiculous to me. But like I said, I do understand her frustrations when it came to Laura. Like, I understand why she was weary and felt very jealous towards her, like, envious. I don't really know what word to use here, but I understand it because she's like, she could see that Laura was feeling, and it goes into what I was saying about Laura to be in my Laura video. Like, I truly feel like she had feelings for Steve way longer than she allowed herself to admit it, and I think that Myra saw that as well, and that's why she, you know, was a little like, this is not happening. You know what I mean? Like, so I understand her frustrations with Laura, but to go out of your way to purposely go beyond Steve's boundaries when he says that he's uncomfortable with this, it's not okay, and it was never okay, and I hated that they did that with her character. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope that you enjoy. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because you know there's more on the way. And you know, if you made it this far in the video, why don't you tell me how were your feelings towards Myra? And if you did enjoy Myra, what was your favorite moment with her? All right, until next time, bye.